Hey there everybody, this is McFlyGold, and this is my first tutorial for the point and click adventure toolkit. If you do not have this asset, it's probably not worth watching the video unless you just want to see how like stuff in Unreal Editor works. There is a trailer and a playable demo that you can check out for this asset. But this is just basically to help some people get started. I'm a newbie myself with this, but I did learn a couple of things. And since there's a lack of video tutorials, I thought I'd give this a shot to help some people out. So we're going to create our project. And sorry if I'm a slow typer. All right. And then we're going to load our project up. Okay, so when you first load the project up, this is what you're going to see. It may take a while for your shaders to compile. I've already made a couple of projects with this, so my shaders are already done. What I do like to do when I first start is come up here to Editor Preferences, go to the Blueprint Editor, and change this to on success only, save on compile. This way, every time you make a new asset, you don't have to click compile and save. You just hit compile and then move on about your business. Next thing we're going to do is create our first folder for our project. They suggest that you put it in here with the PNC game folder. So we're going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call this my game. You can call yours whatever you'd like. And then inside there, we're going to create two new folders. Characters and scenes. Now this will be laid out the same way that it is for this here, characters and scenes. You're basically using their folder structure. It's to basically keep things organized. And there they have their overview map, which is this here that we're looking at. The forest demo, which is the playable demo, but in, editor form. And then a shared folder, which has a whole bunch of things that's shared across their project. I'm not necessarily going to go through that process because this is just a tiny little tutorial. So in our scenes, we are going to make a new folder, and we will name it level 1. And then in here, we'll create our first new level. So file, new level, click on default, and then we're going to save it in this folder that we just made here. So save, and then go to my game scenes level 1, and also call this level 1. So far, so good. You don't need that player start because the way this thing works is by you dragging in your own character. So let's add in a character. I also, I didn't mention it, go away, but I like to make a second content browser so that I can easily move things back and forth between folders. So if you don't have a second content browser, like your setup looks like this, just come up to here to window, go to content browser, and then just add a second one. It may just like pop up free like this, and you can just put it up there. You don't have to do that. It just makes it easier for me to move things around. So like I could go to my game, go to characters and there's nothing in there. But on this side over here, I can go to their characters, get the mannequin character. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Let's go to this and type in player, and they already have a player set up, a blueprint for the player character. So I'll just copy it. You can save all. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is go back into our scene, level 1. And let's make a blueprints folder. And we can make a meshes folder. I'm going to provide some models for us to play around with in here. All right, so the first one, let's just go to the meshes folder here. And I have one called rooms. So we'll bring that in. When you bring it in, choose to not create material, because otherwise it's just going to import a bunch of blank materials. And we're going to assign materials from things that already come in the kit. So like if we go here to scene, forest demo, content, and materials, there's a whole bunch of materials in here, and we're just going to use those. All right, so we're going to drag in the room. We're going to delete the floor. And it looks funny because it's backwards. We're just going to rotate it 180 degrees, come here to the details panel, and just zero everything out. All right, so this is going to be our little play area. There's 2 rooms, first floor and the second floor. And if you open this up and we check the collisions, you're going to see that it's got a giant box around the 2 rooms, and that's going to mess us up. We won't be able to move around. So here under collision and collision complexity, change this to use complex. And then this way we'll be able to move around in the room. Save that. And if we go up here, you'll see that there's 3 materials. This one is walls, this one is floor, and window. Window also does the door frames, by the way. So we can come back over here to all the pretty colors that they give us. And I would like some light blue walls. And for the floor, I was using the rocks. Yeah, so we have pretty spots on the floor. And then this, let me see, where's the light? Yeah, this one, the pages. There we go. We can save that. Now in our scene, it's all pretty and colored. Oh, grab the light source and in the details panel, change that to movable and turn off the shadows. There we go. Now, the next thing we want to do is open up the, where is the character? Character here, bring in our player, rotate him around, and add volumes. And we want nav mesh bounds. We want 2 of these. So we're going to drag one in. If you hit P on your keyboard, it should turn green. That's a good thing. That means that there's a navigable mesh. I don't like saying that, so that's the last time I'll do that. We're going to bring it down a little bit. We don't need it to be gigantic or anything. And on the green axis, which is the y-axis, we're going to scale that up. We want it to, we can make it a little bit smaller and just scooch it over. We want it to cover this little extension here, because this is basically like the little hallway that we're going to make for when the character goes between floors. And let's make it a little bit wider. That'll work. And to make a duplicate of objects in your scene, let's back up here a little bit, hold Alt and drag the item that you want to copy, and it'll make a copy. So now we have two nav meshes. The next thing we want to do is add some cameras to the scene. We click here and just type in camera. There's an advanced camera and a fixed camera. We're going to bring in the advanced camera, kind of set it like in the middle of our floor. We'll hit P to get rid of the greenness there. All right, cameras are, I'm still getting used to them, but the way that I understand it, this inner square here shows you the range that the camera, can move. So if you click this and move it around, you'll see that that's the range that your camera can move. You see it in the little preview window there. Then this outer bound is like, I guess, the range that the camera can extend to. But we want to narrow this down. The way that I want to set this up is going to be almost like the camera is on a rail. So in order to do that, we're going to click this outer diamond here and drag it in. And when you drag it in, you'll see like both the outer and inner bounds are going to change. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to drag it in. Now for it to be on a rail, click this and I want to pull it in on the x-axis, and I want to make, basically I'm going to drag both ends in so that this inner one becomes almost like just a line instead of a square or rectangle. So drag this and pull it in. And now that prevents the camera from moving in and out and just keeps it moving from side to side. Now if you want it to move both in and out of your scene as well as left and right, then, you know, shape it however you need to. But this shows the range now that the camera can move. Next thing I want to do is we come over here in the details panel, and I want to rotate the camera in and definitely reduce that spring arm length. All right. We're going to click on the whole rig. So like click away from it and then just click on the camera. And I want to move it up some and rotate this back down. Now we click on that little diamond and we can see like, all right, so when I move left here, I don't want to see this much of the edge wall. I want it to stop. Let's say about there, actually. So we'll drag this and we'll pull it in and you'll see that line get smaller. And then kind of the same thing for the right side. Like I want it to have a little bit of movement, but not a lot. So let's close that side in a little bit. The next thing we want to do is give it a focus actor. So right here, click on the little eyedropper and select our player. Hit save. Now we'll take this and we'll do the same thing we did before. Hold Alt and drag it up. And then we have our camera for our second floor. Let's save that. So in order for the camera to work, oh, yeah, let's do that now. This top floor camera over here, scene starting camera, we want to turn that off. This way it'll start with this camera here on the bottom. All right, to trigger the cameras, you need to use a trigger volume. So over here on the side, it's still in volumes, there's a trigger volume. So we're going to drag one in. And I'll take that and I'll make it a little bit more narrow. Put it there. That should be good. You can always play test and move things around and change it. And we will Alt click and copy it and move it down. So now we're going to link this camera to this trigger volume. So we click on this top camera. And here where it says trigger volume, use your eyedropper and click that one. And we'll do the same for this one. Click this one, use the eyedropper and trigger volume. Let's just give this a little test and see if I haven't made a scene manager yet, but it should defaultly make one. Just click play, click, and we can move around. Yay! All right. Let's hit stop. And the next thing we want to do is add doors. And the doors will let us transition between the two floors. So here on this main folder here, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type door. And we're just going to use one of the pre-built doors for now. Where is it? Here, door visual, BP door visual. So we'll grab one of these and pull it into the scene. You'll notice that almost fits perfectly, but the Z scale is wrong. So let's scooch this over one notch there. And then over here on the side, just change this to 1.1. Ta-da! And now we're going to take this, again, Alt clicking and drag it up. And now we have a second door. And now we have to link these two doors together. It's pretty easy the way this is set up. Just click on the door, click on the bottom one here. And over here on the side, we are going to go to target door. Let's come up here and pick the door. Then we'll click this one, target door, and pick the bottom one. Unlocked, requires key for unlock. I think we're good. Let's give it a shot. Save. Hit play. And walk around the room. It says door, click on it. Okay. That's what I forgot to do. You'll notice that when he walked up to that door, he walks like way close to the door. But it's working. It's working. What we need to do is add our interactable volumes. So come here, back to this root, type in volume, and you have BP interactable volume here. Grab this and pull it into the scene, drag it up, and We'll make a copy. So Alt-click, drag, pull this up. So this interactable volume, its purpose is this is the spot where your player will stand when they click on a certain object to interact with it. So click on the volume, and over here under assigned actors reference, there you go. So now it's linked to that door. Do the same thing for the top one. Click, add, and pick. It's pretty easy. We hit play, walk over here, click on a door, and he should stop. Boop. There you go. It goes upstairs. Click, open, and now he's downstairs. There you go. You have officially created your first little demo scene for the point and click adventure toolkit. All right. I hope that was good enough to get you started. Hope it was helpful. In the next tutorial, I'm going to go over making a couple of objects that you can interact with. So there'll be a little nightstand and a lamp, and we will see what happens from there. Okay, I almost forgot to make the scene manager for our scene. That's what this is considered. So I will do that before ending this episode. It's pretty easy. So actually we'll just... So we need the scene manager base. That's what we're going to use. But we're going to, let's see, we'll go here to my game, scene level 1, and blueprints. So we're going to take this and we're going to make a child, and we'll name it scene manager underscore level 1 and move it and save it. So the scene manager is going to be needed for things that involve dialogue and items for the inventory. So you want to make a scene manager that's going to be unique for each scene that you're making. So that's why I called it level 1. So when you make another level, it'll be level 2, level 3, and it'll take care of the things that you are interacting with in that specific scene. So now that we've made one, we can just drag it in and scooch it off to the side there. Right now, I don't really have a particular use for it, but it's good that we have one. So possibly in a future episode, we may make an item that you need to collect and use. Maybe the door will be locked and we need to make a key or something along that line. And I guess we can say is cutscene enabled? No, since there's no cutscene right now. All right, so there we go. We have our scene manager for level 1. And that's it. We should be good. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.